Which one do we want to follow?
Oh, those are all so good.
Yeah, I agree with this one. Lazavik with the white pieces coming from a win in Time Scramble against Magnus Carlsen, who finished many minutes ago. He's had a little bit of a break. Here we go.
Here we go. It's the English opening. Lazavik, he's been a lifelong Catalan opening player. So the fact that he's switching up his repertoire against Magnus, very interesting. He knows that he might need to win Lazavik. He's got one final white. He'll most likely have black in the last round, maybe against the likes of Hikaru, so he might as well try and get this point. So the English opening, the white knights dancing. There is the option of taking this bishop off. Magnus is playing very provocative stuff here. Engines like white because they like the bishop pair, but that does open up the black rook on the A file here, so I wouldn't be shocked if Lazavik holds off on that decision for a bit longer. Very interesting. Magnus is the king of the English opening, so to play it against him, very brave from Denis Lazavik.
Denis Lazavik on 8 points, Magnus Carlsen on 7.5 points. This is round 10, the second to last round. After 11 rounds, we will know who is the winner of game week 8. Magnus Carlsen won game week 7. He's won 3 game weeks so far in the autumn split. Can he win another one? It's going to be hard. He's half a point behind. He needs to win this game.
He's going to feel like it's must win. The good thing we can say about that is, conveniently, he's Magnus Carlsen. So in a must-win scenario, he usually is able to find some sort of tiny imbalance to really grind things out into the end game and turn what would be an infinitesimal advantage into a win. But ideally, in this sort of time control, in this sort of format, you want to be one over the board in 30 moves, if not less. The problem is he's going up against a very informed Lazavik, who I don't want to take any credit away from him, has played phenomenal chess today.
Yeah, Denis Lazavik, every time I watch him, so calm, so composed, very deep positional understanding. Not many people can match Magnus on that front, but Denis has the potential here. He actually locks the center and now breaks on the queen side. The white pawns are very nicely placed. They take a lot of space, and opening up the A file is going to potentially lead to infiltration in the long term. Black has a pawn majority, a little bit extra space, at least on the other flank. I wouldn't be surprised if Magnus moves this knight out of the way first, and then starts throwing his pawns forward towards Denis Lazavik's king. But it's going to be a long, grindy game now with the blocked pawn structure in the center.
Hikaru Nakamura is playing against Pranesh here in round 10. The eval bar is saying balanced in that game. Early days, of course.
Yeah, and for Magnus, it's a must-win. For Hikaru, he might feel like it's a must-win. His tie breaks, due to the fact Hikaru lost in round 1, Magnus lost in round 2, their tie breaks are terrible. They played lower-rated opposition, therefore the sum of their overall opponent's scores will be lower. So they know they need to finish on top of their score group in order to, or be the only ones in their score group in order to win the top prizes. As we see a bit of maneuvering now, a very odd queen retreat by Denis Lazavik. Maybe he's going to be dropping his knight back to try and trade off these bishops. A bit awkward on that diagonal.
Lots of must-wins here. Denis Lazavik and Magnus Carlsen both going to be feeling like this is a little bit of a must-win situation, but also Maksudli Theodoru as well, just behind them on board 3. A win for either player there might give them a shot at winning all of the marbles. So the last thing either player wants to do on the board immediately behind Magnus and Hikaru, neither player wants to draw. And I think that just adds a little bit of extra spice to this round 10.
I agree.
Yeah, and just the board below this one, it's just the craziest, wildest position I've seen in ages. But let's focus here as Magnus pushes his pawn forward to attack that knight, which was forced to retreat. Magnus now has a beautiful knight in the middle of the board. Can be chopped off, but what remains will be one very passive white knight versus a very decent black knight that could jump forward. So I'm starting to like Magnus Carlsen's chances. Denis Lazavik, I was going to say, had to do something very energetic, and he has done so. He trades off. Magnus retreats. A bit of an odd decision. But he does have a backward pawn to play against. This pawn is a weakness long term.
Denis Lazavik is number 4 on the chess.com Blitz leaderboard. Magnus Carlsen is number 1. It keeps shifting between Magnus and Hikaru, that number 1 spot. But currently Magnus is the number 1. Can he be number 1 in game week 8 as well and win title Tuesday? He needs a win in this game. They are quite equal on the clock so far.
Yeah, they do say don't trade queens against Magnus. He even said it himself last week. So I do feel Denis Lazavik should keep the queens on, dodge the queen trade, protect his knight, and seek his chances there. If you take the queens off, Magnus would have got a beautiful knight in the center of the board. He does keep the queens on. You don't win against Magnus in an endgame. It's that simple.
Pranesh is much better on the eval bar against Hikaru Nakamura. Pranesh with the black pieces in that game. Wow. Very important game happening there as well. We keep an eye on everything here.
Yeah, this just feels like the title could be decided in the next few moves on all the boards. They look like there will be decisive results. This bishop is hit. The black knight is threatening to jump into the center. Denis Lazavik probably should be taking this knight off the board, but it's so hard to part with such a beautiful bishop on the long diagonal. 30 seconds up as well, Magnus. He's doing Magnus things slightly better. Beautiful squares. It's going to be hard for Denis to hold this now.
Even if the bar is roughly in the middle, it's just Magnus being Magnus. Is that why you say that?
It's Magnus's type of position. It's very positional, and he's got a time advantage, and it's the trend of the game. Denis had a great opening, a bit more space. That's changed. That's turned around. And Denis now is left with some problem pieces on the edge of the board.
Magnus is streaming. Let's hear if he's talking. He was moving his mouth, and when
I think I'll actually
there we go.
Knight c5 is coming, then f4. Looks very promising. So I am giving myself an isolated pawn, but I'm also eyeing some very juicy squares. f7 maybe? Yeah.
Talking about some juicy squares. He's very focused now, Magnus Carlsen.
Yeah, the juicy square is where the black knight currently sits. It's kind of an outpost here because it cannot be challenged by the white pawns, and it's actually helped by the fact that this black pawn is doubled on an isolated square. There's no way of challenging the knight. This one is a target. The black rooks are going to line up, double up against a second target, and it's the theme of two weaknesses. One weakness might not be enough to overwhelm the opponent, but if you can tip them over here, it's going to be very hard for the white rooks to coordinate and defend all the weak pawns. And Magnus might just, well, get a decisive advantage. It's so difficult that Denis is burning all of his time on this one move.
Down to 1 minute on his clock. That's dramatic for young Denis Lazavik against the best player in the world.
Oh, big moment. The problem with taking this
G5?
pawn now,
G5.
And the knight fork. The knight's attacked two rooks there. It wins one of them. John, that was a hard one to dodge for white.
It was. I was sat there 2 moves in advance going, oh, that square on d3 looks so juicy. There are about 5 different ways we can try and set something up. And indeed he did. The game is still not over, but Magnus now looking like he is poised to go up to 8.5 points. A minute 30, plays 50.
Ooh.
That is just the build-up. That wasn't a one-move blunder by Denis Lazavik. Magnus has been building that advantage move by move by move. Look at that beautiful black king in the center. King of the hill, cannot be challenged. No danger of it being checkmated, and infiltration now. The black rook was the one that got the A-file. We talked about it earlier. The white rook wanted to use that line, but now the rook is going behind. Easy targets. Denis Lazavik desperately trying to throw some pawns forward, but this black pawn now 3 squares away. This is pretty much game over. White's knight looks pretty, but not doing anything.
And speaking of game over, Maksudlu beat Theodoru to keep his hopes alive. It will all come down to the final round.
Maksudlu on 8.5 points. If Magnus Carlsen wins him, he will join Maksudlu on 8.5. But Hikaru Nakamura has been able to turn the game against Pranesh. He is now massively better. And will go up to 9 points if he wins that game.
Oh, and that looks like a Hikaru type of position as well. Are we on a collision course, Magnus, Hikaru?
You said it.
It's getting closer. You said it first, I think. That's,
One more round to go after this one in game week 8. Will we see Magnus Hikaru? Maksudlu is also up there fighting to win game week 8. Magnus Carlsen is fighting to win this game, and it's looking very good.
It's looking very good. He's parting with a lot of his pawns, Magnus, so he's playing a bit of a high-risk strategy, but easy to take risk when you've got a pawn like this one, just 1 square away now. The knight is jumping. He's just got to avoid all these forks. That's why Magnus has been burning some time. And look, that beautiful rook takes rook would have been met by a check. Magnus about to make